Yeah, you can see me. I do 4 videos a week for Rebel HQ. So you can check out all my work there. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Yaz, KYAZZZZZK. I don't post very often, but when I do, it's usually about like something I'm like sewing or something like that. So, if that sounds fun for you, then follow me there.
Well, yes, thank you so much for joining me. And you all stay safe out there, stay sane out there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc, hardest working man in TV, streaming, internet, inside classrooms too, various universities coming to a student near you. He's deserved it. He deserves a day off. He's earned it. I'm Sharon Reed. We have a ton of just eye-popping, interesting stories for you today, and we'll begin with a hater. That's what you call someone like this. He's a hater. The right thing to do was right in front of you, and you chose the wrong thing. Mike Johnson blocks Jesse Jackson from lying in state at the Capitol. The House Speaker has denied a request for the late Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. to lie in honor at the United States Capitol, citing past precedent, if you will, over how the deaths of other high-profile figures were handled. That's according to sources familiar with the matter. Lying in honor generally involves laying the casket of the deceased in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol where the public can come and offer final respect. That will not happen for the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. One of the sources telling CNN that the decision to reject the request to lie in honor, which had been made on behalf of Jackson's family, was in keeping with precedent and was not political. Source said that requests for conservative political activist Charlie Kirk and former Vice President Dick Cheney were also denied, and that the general practice is for presidents, select military officials, select government officials to lie in honor. It was last done for former President Jimmy Carter. Officially, that's the word, again, the source from CNN. However, let's remind you, 2005, Rosa Parks, civil rights pioneer, mourned when her casket was placed in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol for 2 days of public viewing. She was that important. A first, a pioneer. Parks was the first woman and the second African American to lie in state there. She was the 31st person, the first American who had not been a U.S. government official, and the second private person after the French city planner, Pierre L'Enfant, to be honored in this fashion. So Johnson is not the only Republican that has recently slighted the Reverend Jesse Jackson. I want you to watch this.
Sadness at the passing of a person who I knew very well. Jesse was a piece of work, I want to tell you. He was a piece of work, but he was a good man. He was a real hero.
I often wonder if this president would have just chosen a career in stand-up. I don't know if he would have been successful or not. He garners laughs, probably courtesy laughs there in that clip, but we would have all been better off if he just would have done stand-up. Just go to stand-up. There's lots of people I think aren't even funny. They've made a ton of money at it. Just do stand-up. Not here. You want to talk about a piece of work? Well, he ought to know. Trump said this, though, during a Black History Month event at the White House. You'd think that would be problematic to the audience, unless they came there with a task in mind, if you will. However, this was the crowd he was speaking to. Watch.
All right, so today is the Black History Month reception at the White House. I'm out here, and you can see all of these people standing and waiting in line to go into the White House reception for Black History Month. So if anybody's telling you, what's going on, brother? How you doing? How you doing?
This is an all-star
This is another one. This is what happens.
All-star affair.
What's going on? So good to see you as well, brother. So look, this is the line again for the Black History Month reception at the White House. So the next time somebody tells you that Trump is racist or he doesn't like black people or anything like that, you can direct them to this crowd.
We are living under the administration of the greatest president in our lifetime. And we have the hottest country in our lifetime.
This president right here, President Donald Trump, brought me from the prison pit to the White House. Only in America.
I
I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
Go run and tell that. Okay. I don't know. My mind just goes certain ways. You know me. I can barely keep it together these days, but I just picture immediately when the camera shut down, she said, now run me them coins. Now give me my money. Okay. And who really believes this? Watching that line outside the White House. Look, believe what you want to believe. Be with whoever you want to be with. I look at that line and I say, you know what? I'm single. And I see perhaps some eligible Black men that I also have to cross off the list and can't date. Okay. Not going to date you. In case you were interested. Don't know if you were. So there you have it. It was a hell of an event. One thing to note, according to Armstrong Williams, FAMU's president, Marvin Johnson, attended the event too. Just an eclectic mix there. Hello. While those Black conservatives defend Trump's racism, conservative analyst Michael Singleton struggled to defend the GOP's racism during a recent appearance on CNN. Let's take a look at that.
I support the Republican Party has been against DEI.
But do you not acknowledge that this anti-diversity, anti-DEI thing has been a core tenet of the second Trump administration?
That's not my issue. She said the entire Republican Party.
They're
that's
against
half
DEI.
Of the country.
I'm not
you tell me half of the country is racist.
Fine, I mean, I'm not saying that they're racist.
She didn't say that. But if you think the anti-DEI thing is racist, that's
I haven't given an opinion on DEI. That's not my point. I just think we shouldn't be flippant calling half of the country racist. When people hear anti-diversity, I mean, I can just tell you, people typically think if you're anti-diversity, then you're probably a racist person.
But why? So then, hold on. Why does the president want diversity in his administration?
You should ask Trump. I don't know. I'm not Trump.
Well, why is the Republican Party for it?
That's a really important statement that you just made. I mean, I'm not sure that even people would go that far. You just suggested that being anti-diversity is equivalent to being racist. I think
many people would see it that way.
Well, this is an administration who has been explicitly anti-diversity. The Department of Defense has banned celebrations of Black History Month.
That's not my quarrel. My issue
early in the
is calling
administration,
the entire Republican Party racist.
I'm just saying.
Every single person that voted Republican.
Just to be clear.
Just like, come on. That sounds like BS, and I can't say what I really want to say, but that sounds like BS.
Just to be clear, this administration has been explicitly anti-diversity. That's fine to be critical. That's fine to be critical of Trump. It's fine to be critical of the administration. But you cannot cast aspersions against the entire party.
Listen, the vast majority of the party supports everything he does.
Michael was all over the place. He was all over the place. I can make it simple for you, and I don't even need to do percentages or keep count. If you're not anti-racist, then you're racist. If you sit on the sidelines, or if you struggle to explain it away, or that performance by Michael was like an Allen Iverson crossover. He's here, he's there, he's all over the place. And then next thing you know, he scored. Okay, only Michael didn't score. Sorry, AI. It's just ridiculous. And this is, let's bring in Wosny Lambre here. This is what really makes me stay inside. It makes me stay inside because we can't just have honest discussion. And you can say, well, you're inside with your television. Well, I turn it off, is what I do. Okay. We can't have honest, decent discussions where you are free to disagree. Who doesn't want to argue? It's what Americans do best. But that was a shameful performance, as was some of the on-command tap dancing. Some of it appeared to be minstrel-esque performance by people. Well, it did. Well, come on. It was like a minstrel show. We gonna dance, 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 you know? It was ridiculous. But that's just me. I'd rather you just tell me to my face, I'm there to get that check, to get proximity to power. I don't even believe this stuff, but I'm going to check my integrity at the door. I wore my knee pads, whatever you want to say, but don't on my leg and tell me it's raining, okay?
Yeah,
I don't see how it can be argued that the Trump administration is anti-DEI at the very least. DEI as a sort of regime or as a policy program, like they explicitly ran against it. They've gone out of their way to like take it down, both rhetorically, symbolically, and kind of substantively, meaning like any federal agencies or even contractors that had DEI policies or people that worked in DEI departments, they've defunded them and they fired people whose jobs it was to ensure that DEI initiatives went through. I don't see how you can sort of argue with that fact. That's just the truth. Now, what does that mean? I think you and I might have our own interpretation of what it means, but I think if somebody on the other side wanted to argue that what they were going up against was maybe some of the most, the most extravagant DEI excesses in terms of the programmatic part of it, that's what they would say, right? Just where DEI sort of quote unquote ran amok. I think that's what they would say they were going after. But again, I would leave it to those who are so opposed to DEI to defend their opposition to it, right? Like me personally, I know as somebody who, worked in corporate America during the time of 2021 and 2020 and sat through those trainings myself as a Black person, and not gonna lie, they felt kind of cheap and stupid and pointless, to be honest. And I know those consultants got paid a shit ton. I myself can sit here and tell you, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like those programs specifically. Now, the idea that we need to go out of our way to ensure that workplaces and other places are more diverse, and workers generally have more equity and inclusion within their workspaces. Like, I don't know how anybody could be against that. I'm certainly not. But in terms of how DEI was actually implemented in the immediate aftermath, where I'm sitting in a class with a lady who's explaining to me that my white coworkers should explain to their children that Black people are capable of being lawyers and doctors, like literally. This is something that happened in a DEI training. I was like, ugh, God. And I know those folks got paid up the wazoo to do those demonstrations.
Well, maybe your white coworkers needed to understand that Black people can be doctors and lawyers. Maybe that's how bad America is.
I disagree, Sharon. This is what I would say. Those people, my white cohort, in corporate America, if or when their children met Black people, you better bet your bottom dollar they would have been doctors and lawyers and people who have cool jobs in, advertising agencies and sports, etc. It's definitely not going to be garbage men. It's definitely not going to be gym teachers. It's not going to be janitors. It's not going to be bus drivers. When they meet Black people, it's going to be elite Black people, right? So this idea that these white people need to learn that, especially at these like liberal institutions, I think is kind of crazy. I actually think it's the opposite. I think you need to be teaching young white kids that when they meet a Black bus driver, he deserves dignity and respect, just like any Black lawyer would, right? And
just like any white bus driver would. Okay?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that goes without saying. I'm just saying the idea to be Black and to be respected is that you need to have some fancy job. I just don't agree with that idea. And I think that's been my own thing with the whole DEI situation. It's so concentrated in Harvard and Stanford and, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and all of these elite institutions, which, yes, I want to see Black people get jobs in those institutions. But the truth of the matter is those jobs and opportunities are finite and minute, and 95% of Black people are never going to work in those things. They're never going to be in those institutions, and we need to be worried about the other 95% of Black people and not folks that get the patronage in these elite institutions.
Isn't that a different argument? We're not That's not really what's going on. And I'm not saying that your argument is not sound. I'm saying that's not why they're doing it. It's a culture war.
Oh,
it's
the
a
Trump,
weaponization.
Yes, of course.
It doesn't even matter. People say, well, he's just doing that to earn votes, and it's a culture war. I mean, it doesn't mean he's really racist. It doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. Only the practice does, and only the fallout does. So I guess I get it. I just think that when you have a figurehead who has implemented policies that devalue everyday people, whether they're Frederick Douglass or the Reverend Jesse Jackson, it speaks for itself. And I don't know that we need to overcomplicate it, but I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, what I would say is that anybody who considers himself a person of color and they call themselves supporting the president of the United States should actually be able to articulate why the DEI thing was so horrible and why the Trump administration needed to go after it in the manner that they did. And I think this young man on CNN did a horrible job of doing that. That's just the truth of the matter. Like, if you support this president, then you should be able to articulate why burning DEI to the ground in the manner that they did is so beneficial to the American people.
Yeah. That part, I couldn't agree with you more. And I'll end it by saying that the very people who you saw speaking there, many of them benefited. They benefited from these programs. In certain cases, in political circles, they may have been plucked for their Blackness for a purpose. As much as that pains me to say, didn't say they're not qualified, but I'm just telling you how certain segment thinks. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey. Doc has a day off, much more to come.
Indisputable exclusive, disputable exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey. Doc has a day off. I'm Sharon Reed, and Woz is here. Hi, Woz. We haven't been on together for a little bit. I always enjoy it.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I think we generally agree, and I don't need to necessarily agree with the guest co-host, but we generally agree. But I do like to take little, I don't know, I like to just give you a little belly shot sometimes.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's healthy. It's healthy for the gut.
Both of us. Yeah. I don't mind it. You're doing good.
Yes, I'm good. I'm happy to be back on with you.
Yeah, we love you. And we'll get into what you're doing these days. But let's get to some of your comments. Always love our TYT family. Guam Will Capsize Dragon says, TYT member, why? I thought Trump liked him. Talking about the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who Mike Johnson declined to have him lie in honor inside the Capitol's rotunda. In honor that I think the Reverend, for all the furs, for all the, remember, he was right there when Martin Luther King Jr. was shot dead. He was part of the civil rights movement his entire life, very young when he entered the movement, but that was declined. Other people got the honor who history may reflect didn't deserve it, but that's okay. Just letting you know it's out there. Ellis Bellis says, hurts my spirit to see the passion and righteous conviction of Black folks being used to prop up Trump. President had a Black History Month celebration, and there were some people there dancing. Boy, they poured it on thick. One brother, I'm not going to say his name. I remember him from way back. I had to excommunicate him from my life. I'm going to marry you in 1 year. Ew. I ran. Okay. I was young. But I see I've changed. You haven't. Okay. YouTube members. Neil Whittington, 2023. Thank you so much for your contribution. We always appreciate it. These independent media entities, TYT, been always here is the way I like to look at it. I know it was born at a certain point, but it's been around for so long and it's more needed now than ever. So thank you, Neil. I don't know, Sharon fills in for all in many shows. You're the hardest TYT worker. We love you. Keep it on, girl. Well, you should talk to the team behind the scenes who have to put up with me and prepare for this, but I appreciate you. It's the best place in the world to work. I love TYT because everyone's so great. And it's news with a purpose. It's a family. Mr. Steppy, 69. Welcome, beautiful Sharon. It's an honor to hear these stories from you. I love and appreciate your passion and knowledge. Thank you. Well, thank you. And Pop Waz up. He's not bad either. Right? Waz is looking good too. My partner for today. All right, we will. And let's get one more before we move on. And I'm going to give you Dougie 13's comment because I agree with this. And I love Abby Phillips. But look, all the channels have just evolved into this. There's no meat there. You know what I mean? You ever go get a plate of a delicious oxtail? I look a little fat on the oxtail, but it's so much fat. Where's the meat? What am I getting full from this? Am I able to digest this in a way that I'm not still hungry when I leave this Jamaican eatery? And if not, then you need to pivot, get a different supplier. And Abby needs more qualified individuals on her show or just leave CNN. I think they're right. And I don't know how much Abby Phillips, she's a quality host. I've liked her for a long time. She's done the work. She's put in the time. She deserves the slot. But it's just, what did Shermichael add? What do these people add? What's the other guy who's always getting into arguments? He used to work for Mitch McConnell. Him. The name will come to me. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one breaks my heart. Waz, I'm glad you're on today to comment on this one. We've seen this before. Black soccer player faces multiple racial abuse incidents. Here's more from CBS Sports analyst Kate Scott.
Well, I guess today is a new day in football, but with the same old racist problems. And whilst we do want to focus on the games ahead today, because the game is what we love, yesterday does still linger. And whether or not you like Vinny Jr., that shouldn't shape your opinion on this incident. And which team you support, it shouldn't affect which side of the story that you fall on. This isn't Real Madrid versus Benfica. It is right versus wrong. Vinny Jr. and Kylian Mbappe said that there was repeated racial abuse. Gianluca Prestiani said they misheard. But he covered his mouth to hide what he said from the cameras. And hopefully we can all agree that if what you're saying on a football pitch is shameful enough to have to hide it from the public, then you're wrong. In any case, racial abuse is not new in this game, that's for sure. In decades gone by, Cyril Regis, Howard Gale, Viv Anderson and John Barnes, to name just a few who played in this country, dealt with continued and horrific racial abuse to pave a path for players of Vinny's generation to play and celebrate without shackles. Except in 2026, that still doesn't always apply. They are still expected, as Vinny Jr. was last night, to rise above it, to answer by performance, to shut up and play. Jose Mourinho is an iconic figure in world football. Yesterday, he switched the focus from what had actually been said to whether there was provocation for it. He essentially told us that Vinny Jr. was asking for it. That is a damaging narrative from a man who is considered a leading figure in the global game.
Look how small our leaders are these days. Is that what it takes? A little bit of money, a little prestige. This was trash behavior. Yet another allegation of racist abuse towards Real Madrid's Vinny Jr. It brought a dreadful sense of deja vu in Tuesday's Champions League game at Benfica. The playoff round first leg at the Estadio da Luz in Lisbon was halted for around 10 minutes, not long after the Brazil forward opened the scoring early in the second half with a spectacular strike. The 25-year-old's goal celebration, where he danced by the corner flag, oh, that is controversial, was followed by a confrontation with Benfica players, including their winger, Gianluca Prestiani. After an exchange of words between the pair, during which Prestiani used his shirt to cover his mouth as he spoke, Vinny Jr. told referee Francois Letexier he had been racially insulted. Prestiani has since denied this. Letexier activated the anti-racism protocol, and it appeared at one point that the game might not continue. Vinny Jr. left the pitch, sat on the bench before he and his teammates eventually returned to restart the match. Dermot Corrigan and Mario Corrigana, New York Times, with the reporting there. After the final whistle, Benfica's ex-Madrid manager, Jose Mourinho, appeared to blame Vinny Jr. for having provoked the incident. The Portuguese club later claimed there was a, defamation campaign against 20-year-old Argentina international Cristiani. On Wednesday, UEFA announced an investigation into Vinny Jr.'s allegation. The teams meet again on Wednesday in the second leg. But all of that is just the latest part of the story, of course. The extent of the abuse Vinny Jr. has faced is shocking. According to La Liga, there have been 26 incidents of racist abuse directed towards him at 10 different football grounds in Spain since October 2021. That was when La Liga made its first official response to racist abuse of Vinny Jr., filing a complaint to the Barcelona Public Prosecutor's Office after a Clásico at the Camp Nou that month. Other high-profile incidents have included the racist chants directed towards him before, during, and after a September 2022 league game at Atletico Madrid's Estadio Metropolitano. Following January, a mannequin dressed to resemble Vinny Jr. was hanged from a bridge near Real Madrid's training ground. I mean, it's just, what won't you do? June 2025, 4 members of Frente Atletico, radical group of Atletico Madrid fans, were punished for this. Suspended prison sentences. Why suspend them? May 2023. I mean, we're just going to keep going on and on, folks. Dramatic scenes at Valencia's Mestalla Stadium saw Vinny Jr. confront a group of home fans in a stand behind one of the goals during a break in play when Madrid visited for a La Liga game. The most recent instance came at Albacete last month. Second-tier side said they were pained and ashamed after a banana was thrown at Vinny Jr. during their Copa del Rey victory over the Spanish Giants. Spanish Football Federation report detailed the shocking language directed at Vinny Jr. by Valencia fans during that May 2023 match after he had been targeted by hundreds of home supporters before kickoff outside the Mestalla. 3 Valencia supporters were found guilty of a hate crime. Yet after the incidents made headlines around the world, many around Valencia still believed they were the ones who were hard done by. After testifying in that case, October 2023, Spanish media reports wrongly characterized what Vinny Jr. said to the court. Valencia released a strongly worded statement that demanded he apologize. Valencia-based newspaper Super Deporte accused him of lying, published a front page that made him look like Pinocchio. You're not even going to try to hide it, are you? Let's just keep going. Brings us to Wednesday after UEFA said it would be investigating. Benfica released a further statement saying they would collaborate with the process. Now we know it's rigged. While also complaining of a defamation campaign against Cristiano. Footage from the match also appeared to show Benfica supporters making monkey gestures, apparently towards Vinny Jr. When asked if Benfica were aware of this, a club source who, like all of those spoken to for this article, unless otherwise noted, asked to be kept anonymous to protect relationships. Why do you have to protect relationships when we're talking about this? You're either anti-racist or you're racist. That's what I say. They said they were not aware of any plans to respond or investigate further. Again, the New York Times, with extensive reporting here, was something that Kate said, the broadcaster who I think eloquently put it, but something that she said stood out to me. She talked about how Vinny Jr., you, me, all of us are taught that this is just part of what we have to deal with, be strong and go on. And that's the only thing that we can do, right? I'm sure your parents taught you, mine as well. It does you no good to pause in the moment and just get mired in this filth. But it seems to suppress what is clear PTSD and emotional abuse that's ongoing and that can shape and does shape us. And it really hurts. And it's seen as something that is less than strength to acknowledge that hurt. Sometimes we laugh to cover it up. Sometimes we laugh because we're used to it. But I guess I'll pitch it to you with this. Soccer has no real intention of ending any of this, do they?
You know, it's tough because I've been a fan of European football. For people who don't know, like the biggest leagues in what we call soccer, what they call football, are in Europe. Spain and England have the two richest leagues. And then there's France, the French league, Ligue 1, Serie A in Italy. Those are probably the four biggest. Oh, and as well as the German Bundesliga. And there are black players throughout all of those leagues. Benfica is a Portuguese team, and their league is pretty formidable itself, but it's a measure of, below the teams in England, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. From my just novice observation, just just coming late to these leagues, Italy and Spain seem to have the biggest issues when it comes to this. To be honest, in the UK, you just don't see this. You're just not going to see banana peels thrown at black players. You're not going to hear monkey sounds from the crowds. The racism in the UK is going to be a little bit more subtle. They're going to overpraise the white guys in the media and just kind of ho-hum whatever about the praise of the black guys. It's particularly the black British nationals, but they'll never say something like, "Oh, he's lazy. Oh, he's an idiot." They'll just be like, "Oh, he's defiant. Oh, he's brash." You know what I mean? Like in England, it's a lot more subtle, but for whatever reason, in Italy and in Spain, they just had a much tougher time corralling this stuff, especially amongst the fan bases. What surprised me about this is that this was a player doing it, and then you realize it's an Italian by way of Argentina. No disrespect, but they're not exactly known for having the greatest of racial sensitivities in both Argentine and Italy. And so I don't want to cast any aspersions on this young man, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was guilty as charged, to be honest. And Vinny Jr. particularly, as you so beautifully documented there from the Times report, he's been a particular target from teams all over the place because he does like to antagonize the crowds. He does. That's what he does. He's gonna laugh. He's gonna jeer. He's gonna point. He also like his style of play is he tries to sell the calls like the foul. So like he'll get hit and he'll stay down an extra 2 seconds. He is a performer. He's a showman. By the way, in the tradition of the many Brazilian footballers who came before him, like he's living and embodying that lineage straight up. Like he is the physical embodiment of Brazil footballer and all those guys that came before him. Like he is that. And that's what I really love about watching him is his style is so colorful. But I think that same, his embrace of his Brazilianness, his Afro-Brazilianness is exactly what is triggering these racist people. So it's the reason why I laugh is because yes, these people shouldn't be spewing racial epithets at Vinny Jr. But Vinny Jr., I'm telling you, he wants to incite rage in every single opposing fan base. No, your rage should not be, racially assaulting this guy. But I promise you, he's not going to change how he plays and how he approaches the game. And I think that's what people love about him.
Yeah, he's putting on a show. And since when has that been negative in sports?
Not at all. And again, this is his culture.
Yeah.
This is the Brazilian football culture. This is what he grew up in the streets where he learned how to play football. This is the style. This is how you approach it with this level of passion, this level of joy, this level of just like treating it as what it is, which is a show.
Yeah. And back to the original question. If they wanted to do something about it, couldn't they really do something about it?
I think in the UK, what they did was like, I don't quote me on this, but I think it went as far as like forfeitures. Like they cracked down on these fan bases. Like straight up, like you will hurt your team badly if you behave this way in our stands. Like they cracked down in a major way that, I don't think you forfeit your match in Italy for throwing banana peels at Mario Batali. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I hope since they're not going to stop, unless they're compelled to, that Vinny uses it as fuel in that Brazilian soccer historic tradition. And keeps going. Keep going, Vinny. And I believe you. I know you're telling the truth.
Also, Sharon, just on another note, you nailed every single pronunciation.
Oh, I slurred it on purpose and said it quickly. Did I?
No, I'm talking about everything from every team, every city, I was reading it along. I was like, yo, she's killing this.
Well, then let's go on tour together. I've been asking you to do a podcast. You act like you're above it.
I do not.
You've done it every time. Act like, I'm not a formidable partner.
No,
but we
you
can
are.
take this
You're
show
incredible.
on the road. FIFA's coming to Atlanta. I'll host you. And let's do this thing. I'll learn. I can hold my own.
Just
think about it. If not, I'm going to get somebody else. And you're going to be right saying, now, how'd she get up in here? You understand? I'll be right in the press box. Let's move on to this one. Speaking of harassment, it's the American way. If you don't like something, use your voice, freedom of speech, protest. Trumpers harass and threaten teens who are protesting ICE. I want to show you the kind of abuse these students are facing.
You don't believe in the First Amendment?
Criminal, get out.
You don't believe in the right to protest? What's more American than that? What's more American than
do it legally?
They are legally protesting.
Do it legal. You
Let's run it, bro. Hey. You're disrespect the flag. Let's step up. Step up, bro. That's what I'm Step up. Punk ass mother.
And this dude have a gun. These are kids that are protesting, peacefully protesting, and there's a white man come up with a gun to intimidate people.
What you watched there was sad. but also stupid. You see, propaganda has made too many Americans stupid, actually believing that one of the most American things out there, using your voice and freedom of speech, is somehow anti-American. That's where we are. While teens across the country stage school walkouts and protests against ICE, members of MAGA have been meeting these children with intimidation and threats of violence. Well, they're serious about it. Especially the one is that a red MAGA hat? Is it a beanie? I don't have my glasses on. Meanwhile, students are getting punished by their schools too. Of course, hundreds of K through 12 students across the country have received detention or even suspension after participating in classroom walkouts to protest U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, efforts. Experts say leaving school grounds is not a form of protest protected under the First Amendment for students, and Republican leaders are warning of consequences for those who participate. These are Republican leaders who want there to be consequences for this. Are these the same leaders who were last seen running on January 6th? You want consequences for this? Let's tell you more. But as the Trump administration presses ahead with its aggressive immigration agenda, walkouts could spread, with some students objecting to the Trump policies generally, others marching in the name of detainees they personally know. A student who participated in a walkout at King High School in Tampa, Florida, told a local news outlet, quote, his mom has some great friends and they worked hard every day and they unfortunately got deported for no reason. The Hill with the reporting. More than 300 were suspended in Northern Virginia this week after a walkout at Woodbridge Senior High School. One mother telling a local news outlet she is, quote, proud as heck of her daughter who participated. Experts say the First Amendment protects the First Amendment protects a student's right to protest in schools through clothing or other non-disruptive ways. A right examined in the Tinker versus Des Moines case. That's where students were punished for wearing armbands protesting the Vietnam War to class. Walkouts, though, are different. The Clovis Police Department in California is filing charges against parents who joined a student walkout, according to the Fresno Bee. These actions are unacceptable, the police and school district reportedly said in a statement. Adults who contribute to or promote truancy place minors at risk and interfere with their education. When announcing punishments for anti-ICE walkouts, schools are emphasizing that students are receiving detentions or suspensions over skipping class, not the issue they're protesting. But not all students are facing harsh punishments or any at all for participating in the walkouts. David Law, superintendent of the Minnetonka School District in Minnesota, who has dealt with walkouts throughout his time in the education system, said his schools have always coordinated with students to ensure safety. The intent is really to be noticed, to make a statement, Law said, adding students hold the walkouts during school because that's when everyone is around and they know it'll be irritating. But schools in Florida and Texas in particular are facing increased pressure from Republican officials to curtail anti-ICE walkouts. Get to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. He announced investigations into 3 school districts over suspicions that leaders encouraged students in the protests. His office did not say what evidence it had against the educators, and Florida Education Commissioner Anastasios Kamatsas sent a letter to districts in the state earlier this month saying students retain constitutional rights to free expression, including the ability to engage in peaceful protest when such expression complies with applicable law and school district policy. Any student whose actions are to the contrary should be appropriately disciplined. Much ado about nothing until you made it that way. You have young people who, in many cases, and it's generally age appropriate, are finding their voice was. Mm-hmm. They're coming of age, which takes, could take till you're 35, 40 for some men I know. But they're coming of age and they're deciding what they believe. They're speaking up, using their voices to say, I don't agree with this. And no, they don't have benefits of decades and decades of life experience, but they have a voice and they're using it. And is it that disruptive? I mean, I just read a story about these ICE protests, these walkouts, as if they're so disruptive that kids are missing so much class that are going to have to go to summer school. But that's not really what's happening, is it? Why not just ignore it? Oh, I know. I'm going to answer it myself and then toss to you because you're worried that they're shaping each other. They're holding each other accountable, shaping young minds, going against state policies that they don't agree with, such as ICE and this immigration policy. What say you?
I think parents envision themselves as teaching their kids about what it is they should and should not care about. And if these parents are having problems with it, it's because they're like, whoa, this is not an approved thing that we taught our kids to give a damn about. What I would say is that just that these kids are engaged this way at all with the world that's happening around them is a great thing. You know, one day they're gonna have the political views about something that I disagree with them on, and they might want to speak up in that instance too, and it's all good. I don't just take it that with this immigration thing, which obviously goes without saying, I'm completely in opposition to personally. So yeah, they're completely on my side here. But I just think that it's dope that young people at all care about a world outside of their phones and outside of their, little social group. I think it's cool to be thinking about other people this way. And what I would say too is that these tyrants in the Trump administration just aren't as bright as we sometimes give them credit for. And the cruelty and the commodification of the cruelty, meaning like turning the cruelty into a content that is to be sold to your adoring masses, is cool on a one sense, in that it gets out the message that we're behaving like Gestapo thugs. On the other side of it, when you're not doing deportations as quietly as Obama and Biden and other administrations, you're eliciting the ire of people who hate this stuff and find it abhorrent and disgusting. I think what they wanted to do was two things: signal to their fan base that, oh, look at the mass deportations. Look at how we hate the immigrants. Oh, aren't we just great? And two, they wanted to send a message to undocumented folks and folks that are going through the process to quote unquote self-deport. So yeah, it might have achieved some of those goals for sure. But there's always a counterbalancing force to any decision you make. You're going to be giving trade-offs. There's always going to be trade-offs. So yeah, you got to do your little dance with your little bass, but you also got the attention of a bunch of people who otherwise would not have been paying attention if you would have did your deportations humanely.
Yeah, the TikTok algorithm would not be looping them in. You're right. They just wanted to be kids, but instead they're growing up a little bit faster and they're watching things that they don't agree with. They're watching some painful things that involve friends, family members, and they're saying, And unlike some other countries, this is supposed to be a place where we're not raising little robots. I sometimes watch the videos from other countries that end up on TikTok. I don't even know if they're real, but it certainly seems like everything is this way. And I see them, all the kids in this pre-K class are dribbling the ball the same way in unison. They're just all programmed the same way. And maybe they'll be great at math and science, right? And who doesn't want their children to excel at STEM, okay? But at the end of the day, we're supposed to be raising independent thinkers. And if independent thinkers, look my daughter in her mouth, okay? You want to talk about an independent thinker, okay? I put up with some of it because I'm not raising a robot. And one day I'm going to have to release. Fly, you're no longer a caterpillar. Fly, butterfly. Go out, fend for yourself, stop using my debit card. I'm going to have to release her into the real world. And I'd like to think she has some kind of compass and she's able to handle herself. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I'm oftentimes annoyed by young people of America and their.
It's a hell of a statement.
Yeah, just the work-life balance, mental health, it gets on my nerves. But to be honest, man, on stuff like this, they're just way smarter and more aware and more worldly than I was when I was their age, and I'm pretty proud of that, honestly.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Why I won't ask you to babysit. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey. Woz is here. We love him. Love to see you smile. Good to see you're healthy and doing big things. We'll get into those. Much more show when we come right back.
Hey, Andrew, what's up? Hey, Cenk, you ready to make the switch? Yeah, I guess. I promise it's easy, universal, basic, and you get income. Yeah, you keep saying that. But you sure I'm gonna have coverage? Of course you will. You think I would have bad service? I'm Andrew Yang. Of course I have good service. All right, let's try it. But I'm so bad at text. So, wait. Should I do this thing of the hashtag business? Andrew, you're still on, right? Yep. Oh, I see it. Oh, wait, I don't see. Oh, yeah, I do see it. Here we go. I actually did not realize that you'd be searching in real time, but I love it. How much do people actually normally say? Yeah, the average American is going to save between $500 and $1,000 a year on Noble. Yeah, no. You know what I'm going to do, Andrew? Are you ready to become a Noble member? The 2 buttons are do it and go back. There's no going back. We're doing it. We're doing it. Here we go, Noble Mobile. Oh my gosh, I just called you and are you now on Noble and not Verizon? Why didn't you tell me it was gonna be super easy? I know, man. Now you just stay away from your phone and watch the money roll in. I can do that. Here you go, phone, yeah. What the f? Cenk, you still there? Andrew? Oh, well, at least I got Noble Mobile. It was really just one take. The whole thing is wild.
It's in my shoe. It's in my shoes. Hi, I'm Brett Ehrlich with Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. This is Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. Hi, Brett Ehrlich here. According to EPA head Scott Pruitt, climate change is not happening. He cited a meme on Facebook he saw. When pressed to back up this source, he said it must be accurate because the watermark said it was made by a scientist. So, your move, Truth.
At TYT, our mission is to boldly pursue truth, challenge the establishment, and drive positive change. At a time when corporate capture of our media, our government, and our politics is nearly absolute, everyday working people need a champion to fight for them and to push back against the powerful interests that threaten our democracy itself. At TYT, we're proudly progressive and call out corruption and duplicity wherever we see it, from Republicans, Democrats, or anyone else. And unlike mainstream news media outlets, we're not beholden to corporate advertisers, to defense contractors, to Wall Street, or to Big Pharma. We only have to answer to our audience, and for nearly 2 decades, we've accomplished that by delivering honest, timely, and insightful perspectives on the day's news without fear or favor, or concern for whose toes we might step on, or which powerful elites we might offend. And while we're super serious about the news, we also manage to do it in a way that is fun and lighthearted. We can do this together and serve our audience, and yes, have fun doing it.
You are the media revolution. You are much needed.
TYT! TYT!
The place is like 95% TYT on.
Favorite channel, we're getting that message out.
Cenk and the Young Turks do an extraordinarily good job.
No matter what mainstream media says, you have to listen to the Young Turks.
The people who support us on the internet, that's what gives us strength. That's what allows anyone who was in there who was undecided to think one side seems to be winning, they seem to have a bigger army. There might be a reason for that. So thank you guys.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc has a day off. Woz is here. You have a case of the giggles today. You know, people don't see what's going on behind the scenes, but everything the producers say or I say, you're giggling.
No, I was reading a text message and I was laughing. I didn't realize. My bad.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt you. But we do have more show. If that's okay, I'm going to read some comments and let you, you take care of whatever your task is, and then we'll regroup with you. My goodness, I thought he was on with us today. Okay, let's go to some of our illustrious YouTube members here at TYT. Michael Martin, BLK Muskogee says, he runs circles around them. Where that player in red is from, this is talking about the vicious racist incident that Vinny Jr. alleged. Soccer, football. The player in the red is from the only country never to have a black player on their national team. Now, Waza, sorry to interrupt you again, but I asked you about this. Remind us of the dynamic with certain teams, because you talked eloquently about the UK and really an evolution there when it came to the fan base and footballers of color, but versus this incident and the opposing team.
Well, the guy's from Argentina, which I don't know if a lot of people notice. Obviously, there's a lot of Spanish nationals. Obviously, it being a former colony of Spain, there's also a lot of Italian nationals. And, you know, I hesitate to bring this up, but many of the Nazis who fled Europe and Germany during World War II fled to Argentina. That's why I say they have a difficult racial history.
Yeah.
Some would even say that they self-consciously brand themselves as not Brazil, meaning not black, not as black as Brazil. Over there in Argentina, it's just got that history. I've never been. So I can't, I don't want to speak too authoritatively about what's in the hearts and minds of the Argentinian people. But yeah, I forget in the last World Cup, they had some other racialized incident with their team. It's just a thing with Argentina. It feels like that comes up a lot. And so, yeah, Argentina has a difficult racial past for sure.
So thank you for that bit of historical note, Michael Martin, BLK Muskogee. Let's give you another one. Dougie13 says, what happened to protect the kids? Talking about the kids nationwide, really, Minnesota, other places, walking out, now being threatened by a lot of Republican leaders that, whoa, these kids who are anti-ICE, we gotta criminal charges for parents who allow this. No, school districts, we're gonna investigate you. One more for you, and then I promise I'll get to more of your comments in a little bit. Twitch. Girardi says, Woz, what up? So your fans, they want more. They want more of you. Okay, they want more. They want you fully.
Well, they got to talk to the guest bookers. They got to get on the horn and they got to tweet these guest bookers. More Woz. Go ahead, tell them.
Well, they do love you. You're easy to love, Woz. I'm gonna give you that. I give you a lot of pushback, but you're easy to love.
I love you guys too. I love you too. Sharon.
It's just a love. Wow, that was interesting. Look, there's love, and then there's this kind of thing. People who love to harass others, who love to just, they just don't have enough to do, I think. Do you know how much I have to do in a day just to stay right side up? These people seem to have all the time in the world. They're infiltrating every place you can imagine. You want to go eat sushi? They're there. Oh, I know. I've got to go to the laundromat. They're there. They're everywhere. Ice cream. You want ice cream? Meet you there. I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
I'm going to call 911 on you right now.
You're soliciting.
You're crazy.
Leave.
You're absolutely crazy.
Please leave this neighborhood.
You're absolutely crazy.
Go into.
And this neighborhood loves me and has loved me for over 6 years.
Please
and
leave.
has loved me
Please
for
leave.
over 6
Stay
years.
off of these roads. Go back to Battleground. Get the out of here.
Got it.
Call 911 right now. Tell them what you're doing. This lady right here just sold me cocaine, crack cocaine, and methamphetamine. Get the out of here.
That's why you're acting like that.
I don't know what the gentleman consumed or not, but he was acting like he was high. High. My guess would be, and I'm not an expert, but synthetic drugs, some kind of lab, something or another, turned him into a rabid. Oh, you heard the music in the background. Every child loves to run after an ice cream truck. They hear the music, they run outside. But in this case, a male Karen harassing a black ice cream truck vendor. Look at him. Foaming at the mouth. Kids chase the ice cream truck. And so did he. High on something. Incident took place in Greensboro, North Carolina. Black woman was harassed in the video is Leslie Hines, Navy veteran who runs a beloved community business. It's called the Pinky Experience. Look at her pink hair and pink dots and the apron. And the kid in the picture doesn't look too happy, but maybe he hasn't gotten his ice cream yet. They love her. She's been around. They trust and love her. Why do this? Well, there are the reports of this man's manic behavior. Another family filed a police report after he approached their children outside asking to speak to their parents. He was furious that he was receiving death threats since the video went viral, though the family had nothing to do with the video and the situation. It escalated quickly. My God, they've got to get him some help. Well, as this breaks my heart, it'll be summer before you know it. It's a beloved American tradition. You hear the music, you run outside. These days, when I was a kid, you had to have coins and, dollar bills. Now kids can probably use Apple Pay. But it's still that same music. I loved the ice cream it was the blue, white, red. It was shaped like a rocket.
Me too.
And
Love
it was
that.
so cool
Yeah.
on your mouth. You just loved it. It was flavorful, lemony. But who wants to go put up with this? What say you?
Man, it's crazy that as soon as you say that, in my mind's eye, I can picture our old house on East 45th Street in Brooklyn and being inside the house and literally running outside and getting that same, I forget what those things are called, but I know what you're talking about. That red, white, and blue one was one of my faves. I'd get a vanilla cone, sometimes no sprinkles, because I could just body the cone and the ice cream just easily in one shot. What was that? The snow cone? I used to get a snow cone as well. Strawberry shortcake was another favorite of mine. Just to think that this guy is just being so negative and insane and obviously racist, accusing the black ice cream truck driver of pushing drugs on kids. It's nuts. It's disheartening, honestly, to see something like that.
I mean, why are you doing this? We have, in some circles, very little joy. There's kids who won't even go outside, whether they're scared of ice or who knows what. So why are you doing this? You're just snatching pieces of joy out of the air. Every little kid just wants to be happy. What's next? I don't know. Maybe you'll steal a skateboard. Double dose.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. Call the cops! Call it now! Yes, you did! This is my grandson's skateboard! Yes, it is! You want to make a bet? Wait till the cops come! Wait till the cops come! Wait till the cops come! We're waiting for the cops to come right now. Yes, we do. I have a whole remote and yes, we do, and we have the whole bill and everything. I have a whole remote and the cops already know. Call the cops. No, they don't, because it's a Dynaskate with these wheels, and my kids know him from the skate park. They all know him. Miss, I already... No. Yes, no. What are you doing? You're being Where's your bill of sale? Bro, I already... Where's your bill of sale? I have the remote and charger. It doesn't matter. How would I get the remote and charger?
No.
It makes no sense.
Poor kid, it doesn't make any sense. This just enrages me. His mama bear. He's lucky I wasn't there. Would have made it worse, I'm sure. But I would have had to intervene. Here you have a Karen doing more than accosting a child. Did she ask for the bill of sale of the skateboard? Now you're now you're the skateboard police too. It's not enough that you're attacking kids at lemonade stands. Is that your iPad? Let me see a receipt for that bubble gum. Now you're physically. I saw something that deserved criminal charges against an adult, harassing, violently so, in my view, a child. Huh. A racist Karen trying to steal a black child's skateboard because she can, because she is. Not ashamed, being recorded, a child pleading, crying, saying you're acting, paraphrasing, I don't know if you use the word crazy, but this is crazy. Ma'am, look at your life. Have fun. Bet she's never been on one in her life, not a single skateboard, and would break her ankle now. She's got to be adjudicated for this. Boss, what say you?
It's beyond words, honestly, to be doing this to a young person like this, like to not know like you should have to know for certain before you approach somebody else's child and try to snatch a freaking skateboard out of their hand. Just to do this so flippantly and just be so crazy with children it's just nuts. And you just wonder where this even comes from.
Wait, there's more. There's more. So I guess you think the police would show up and say, ma'am, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Here's what the mother says. A lady assumed my son's electric skateboard was her son's. 4 of the kids are saying she tried running him over and taking the board from him. She called the police on him. The police ended up giving my son the board back and letting her leave. I asked the police, is this not a crime? Or putting her hands on my son's belongings? He said, no. She assumed it was her son. I said, so if I assumed your gun is mine, can I take it without a problem? He said, this conversation's over, and he walked away from me. Ma'am, don't take, I can assure you, this is America. We done seen a lot of that.
Yeah,
No,
don't
do
try
it.
to take his gun.
We should tell you, in order for the police to verify that the black child didn't steal the skateboard, you see where you have to now prove, okay, you're innocent. Okay, so I thought it was innocent till proven guilty. In order for the child to prove that he didn't steal the skateboard, the mother said he had to call and have someone verify the battery serial ID. So the police officer in this case is a fool too. Bona fide fool who needs to go back to the academy and get, well, he does, and get some education about how the system is supposed to at least pretend you know what the deal is. Foolishness. So now any Karen can walk down the street and take what's theirs. Do you think they only made one Coach bag? Suppose you're walking down the street with a Coach bag and someone says, oh, it's like mine. You're just going to snatch the purse, Karen? And this is according to the cop. If you believe it's yours, you can. And it's not a crime. Snatch away. Oh, I see somebody has a cross around their neck. I have a cross. Looks like mine. I'm just going to snatch it. This is about the dumbest thing I've seen. And we've seen a lot of dumb things lately. So what's a mother to do now, Woz?
I mean, that's a great question. I don't even know how you even avoid this thing, a kid just being a kid, because you would think the proper protocol, if you actually believe this kid stole something from your kid, call the kid's parent, call the person's mom, get on the phone with an adult and be like, hey, this is what, but we could just tell this is just some impulsive BS. You know, and knowing kids, her kid probably gave the skateboard away to somebody and just didn't feel like saying it. Instead said it got stolen. And, the kid's smart enough to be like, yeah, some black kids stole it just randomly and flippantly. And now the mom is on a rampage. We know that. We know what went down over here.
Especially if you know how your mom is.
Mm-hmm.
If I just tell her some black kid took it, she'd
flying off the ledge.
Right.
And now you've transferred the damn, I lost or gave away my thing to, oh my God, somebody took it. We gotta go. We know how that goes. Kid logic.
Go home. Nothing to see here. Karens unite. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc has a day off. We still have a lot more show to come. Thank goodness we got that out of the way. A black child accused of stealing. We're not going to have any more black people accused of stealing, are we? Oh, stick around. Much more to come.
Indisputable exclusive, disputable exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc has the day off. Woz is here. I'm Sharon Reed. And a few of your comments here, a lot of you reacting to the individual running after the ice cream truck, the black Navy veteran who had a beloved ice cream truck, accusing her of selling drugs, a lie. Snack Panther says, you have to be racist as hell to have hatred for an ice cream truck. I thought everybody loves ice cream. Oh, maybe he only likes vanilla. I don't know. Jeffrey Smith, 2069, Klondike Bar. Oh, those are good, but I don't know if I'm quite sold on the ratio of chocolate to ice cream. I like more, a little more even. Another one for you. Cray Cray Souffle was, they're called drumsticks. They want you to know, was that one of your faves, drumsticks, the ice cream? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
I'm like, drum. What were we talking about? Chicken.
well, I'll take a chicken drumstick too. I prefer the MG. Meanwhile, the Karen is probably going to get a GoFundMe from one of those fake Christian sites. Talking about the Karen who tried to steal a black child's skateboard and got away with it. Do better if you can. I don't know if you can. All right, so we've seen a show full of people who were wrongly accused, blacks, mistreated, and here we go again. Black customer frisk, falsely accused of theft at a bodega. Show you video of this incident.
Feel
free to go inside. Feel free to go inside. Feel free to go inside. Keep going. Keep going. What is that?
Okay, take the Bible.
No, keep going. Keep going. Go. I'll get naked if I have to.
Niche.
No, keep going.
Okay.
No, keep going. Keep going.
But he take it one is still.
Keep going. Keep going.
He take it
keep going. Where else do you need to check? No, keep going. Keep going. Do you need a check?
No, guys.
No, go ahead. No, you had all this to say. Keep going. Keep checking.
But we pick up these toys.
What did I pick up?
The bull.
Oh, okay, where is it then? Where is it then? Where is it?
I think
where is it? Where is it?
Maybe put someplace.
Where is it? Where is it?
I haven't checked you.
Where is it?
You take it someplace.
Where is it?
I have no idea where is it. We're talking about that.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No? Please. Please.
Yes.
Do you need me to spread? Do you need me to cough? Where is it? Is there anything you want to say? Is there anything you want to say?
No, not anything. But I saw you moved the pocket. I saw.
Where is it?
I have not.
Check the camera.
No.
I'll wait. I'll wait.
No.
I will wait. I will wait.
Sorry for that.
Okay. Thank you. And you, by the way.
Very triggering. I get it. I'm glad we have the footage to show what's out there. Very triggering watching employees, I'm assuming, put their hands on that man again and again, that black man who just came to buy something out of your store. And then you couldn't even apologize for being wrong because you're under suspicion the minute you are seen. How about that? Black customer frisk, falsely accused of theft at the bodega. Incident occurred in New York at a bodega there. Lots of people frequent every day. It was at a Liberty Bagel Deli and grocery location on 9th Avenue. You see it there. I don't know if you had a visceral reaction to the footage there, Wiles, but I did. I get why he allowed them the full scope, if you will, of his person. Told him to check the cameras. The disrespect that is taught to people coming to this country when it comes to Black people is just so disheartening. And it's debilitating. A man cannot go to a bodega and purchase something or not, without being accosted, harassed, triggered. Now, I would like to say, don't go here. Do not go to that bodega. But must we always organize to escape this kind of humiliating treatment?
Yeah, this is New York City where I grew up at. 9 out of 10 bodegas are either, I think that dude had an Indian accent, if I'm not mistaken, but many times it is Middle Eastern folks, a lot of people from Yemen, Syria, And then, there's a lot of Latino bodegas, or they used to be when I was a kid, a lot of Puerto Rican and Dominican bodega owners. And what I would say to that shopkeeper is that yes, I would be very surprised if no black person has ever stolen from the store before. I'm sure it's happened. Okay? Cool. You're running a business, man. You can't just treat, you can't use that as an excuse to now treat every single black customer as a criminal, because it's just crazy. You're in the wrong business if that's the case. If you don't understand, or you don't get better at understanding black, white, and yellow, who's coming into your store to purchase and who doesn't, that's part of your job, bro. As a business owner, is to make these discernments, to be able to discern. That's part of being a shop owner. You can't just go in and blanket be like, oh yeah, I'm good. You hear people, I know people that work in luxury sales, work at places like Neiman and Marcus, or, any numerous of places where expensive stuff gets sold. And they were like, look, yo, if you go into this job trying to profile who's going to actually give you the sale, you're not going to get anywhere. Your best bet, and we're talking about items that cost thousands of dollars, right? Not a pack of noodles, okay? Your best bet is to treat everybody with a blank slate, okay? Treat everybody with the same courtesy, with the same warmth, no matter who they are, and just assume that they're coming to make a huge sale and thereby give you a big commission. I've heard this over and over and over and over and over again. And so, that shopkeeper need to get his mind right. That's what I would say.
Get your mind right, and also understand that when you behave like this this is my opinion, that you've done this with other Black people, watching them more closely. Do you know how easy it would be for white people to walk into that bodega and steal because you're so busy worried about a brother who did not pick up anything? Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up as they search it. It's just stupid. It's stupid. And I don't even care if the data shows that more Blacks are arrested for stealing in New York. We have disparity in policing. We have profiling. Oh, come on. The justice system's a mess. And you're right, Woz. Nobody on this two-person panel, me and you, is suggesting that people of color, Blacks, don't steal sometimes. Nobody's saying that. But you don't have this magic bullet where and you can just watch all Black. It's stupid. And you're making it easy for some other people because of you and the way you behave to take what's rightly yours. It ain't going to be him. And he probably won't be back. Okay. This one, when I saw the headline, I first ran across it on social media. I said, what the hell is this? I love a good honey bun. And I didn't know they were such a hit in prison. People bartering, they're being traded for things, you're getting punishment, you're losing honey buns. Prison guard steals honey buns from inmates. Say what now? I'm just telling you circumstantial evidence.
Come on, man.
Keep it up for a minute. I might be inclined to believe certain people did certain things. And I'm not, looks can be deceiving, but I'm telling you, this man's accused of stealing honey buns from inmates. He might enjoy a good honey bun. Let's give you the details. A former Morgan County, Alabama jail officer is now facing 7 felony extortion charges over honey buns. But he says the charges are just retaliation. His name is Jarvis Moore. He worked at the Morgan County Jail for 24 years. He was fired in September. He's now been hit with 7 felony extortion charges related to taking honey buns from inmates. This is an important matter. You're locked up and you have very few pleasures. A honey bun is one. What went on here? We'll tell you. We'll tell you. Moore turned himself in on Friday, February 13th. on the felony charges. He says he's diabetic. So this is the first defense. Couldn't have been him. He's a diabetic. Doesn't eat honey buns, calling the charges deeper than the 200-calorie snacks. Well, that's not true. And I'm going to ask you to look up how much of honey. I can tell you from my rear view mirror, there are a lot more calories than that, okay? Moore does not deny taking the honey buns, but says he was following established policy. He said when inmates started fires in the jail, it was policy to take commissary items from those inmates and give them to other inmates. He took the honey buns from the fire starters and he gave them to other inmates who did not ignite the fires. Moore stated the honey buns were actually given to another inmate to clean up. There was nothing ever kept in possession. It was used as a tool to stop burning in the jail. He said the practice had been going on for years. Station WAFF with the reporting. But here's where it gets interesting. Moore and his attorney believe the charges are actually retaliation connected to a leaked video of John Scott Jr., who died in jail custody back in April 2025. You're looking at images taken from the surveillance footage. John Scott Jr., age 39, died April 22nd, 2025, after being arrested by Decatur police during a mental health crisis call. Officers tased and struck him multiple times. Surveillance video was later leaked, showing multiple corrections officers dragging Scott through the Morgan County Jail with a spit hood over his head. His family has since filed a $100 million wrongful death lawsuit. Now, Moore says he was asked multiple times, did you leak the video of Scott's treatment in the jail? His attorney, Scott Morrow, called the charges retaliatory 100% and said Moore's problems began specifically when the John Scott incident occurred. There's also a racial dimension to this. Moore believes he was repeatedly passed over to become what would have been the first Black lieutenant in Morgan County history. He says he was placed on administrative leave each time a position came up. Now, Attorney Morrow stated this. For one thing, he's African American, and they don't want him to be a lieutenant. Moore also said Moore posted a video supporting former Sheriff Anna Franklin 5 weeks before he was charged, and that the sheriff's office wanted to keep Moore down. For context, Anna Franklin is the controversial former Morgan County Sheriff, 2011 to 2019. She left office amid federal lawsuits, criminal charges, including misusing $150,000 in jail food funds to invest in a used car lot. She's now running again for sheriff against the current sheriff, Ron Puckett. Sheriff's office says the investigation into the stolen honey buns started in August and was turned over to the district attorney in November before Moore's video was posted. But Moore isn't buying that. Moore stated, I'm truly not guilty of extortion. The only thing I did wrong was protect the jail and try to secure the jail. We want justice, and we want everybody treated the same. If you're going to arrest one person for this type of activity in the jail, arrest them all. After being fired from Morgan County in September, Moore started working at the Madison County Jail. Every time you put the picture up, it's just the circumstantial evidence. And we don't know. It's going to have to be adjudicated. But when I look at the picture, I'm just telling you what's going through my mind. He was then fired from that job too, once officials learned of the felony charges. An assistant DA who doesn't know more will try the case. Now, look, it's not okay to keep pointing out that there's just something there's something that says you might have consumed a honey bun or two. But this has other serious implications, we're talking about, according to Mr. Moore and his attorney, someone who died in police custody, mistreated. And now, as we often see, there's this huge investigation about who leaked it instead of what happened here, right? It shouldn't just be up to a family to file a $100 million lawsuit. And Moore says, this ain't about no honey buns. It's about this video. They think I leaked it. And then, by the way, I support the former sheriff who wants to be sheriff again. It's a mess. all these pivots, twists, and turns, and high-calorie buns. What do you hear?
To be honest, man, he'll have his day in court. If he can prove that he didn't steal honey buns, I'm sure he could. I'm not going to lie. The black criminal who gets caught doing something automatically going, oh, this was racial. I'm highly attuned to that. And I hate the idea that you got retaliated against because they thought you were a whistleblower. So you're not even a hero for real. You didn't actually whistleblow against these cats and step up and put your actual career on the line for justice. You're just claiming that, oh no, they thought I was heroic. And so they're now trying to ruin me. I don't buy it, bro. If he had the stones to do something like that, then I'd believe it. If he was like, I whistleblowed on them and their horrible actions and they killed the guy and now they're trying to put honey buns on me. He's like, no. I'm not a hero. They just think I am, which is just crazy.
And he's acknowledged taking the honey buns. He said he did it.
Oh, he's.
But it was long-standing policy to remove.
Oh, I
buns.
thought it was by temporary insanity. Like when he gets hungry, he's just temporarily just crazy. He can't control himself.
To remove buns from inmates who are, misbehaving and present buns to those who were towing the line.
It's a bad policy, by the way.
It's a bad policy. And if honey buns are that coveted inside the jail, and I think you have to treat people humanely and give them some kind of privileges and hope when they're incarcerated, right?
For sure.
But if honey buns are causing this much discourse and, they're held up in such high regard, and by the way, they're not healthy, then perhaps you need to go with something different. I'll give you the last word.
I'm glad that this jail is taking the food of the inmates and the snacks of the inmates this seriously, and that you could get charged with 7 felonies for it. That's something I didn't realize CEOs could get knocked for. So that makes me kind of happy, honestly.
Yeah, the sheriff who was not sheriff anymore and something about $150,000 in a used car lot is running to be sheriff again. Make it make sense. Wos, tell us what you're up to. We certainly love having you on.
I'm doing a show now with former NBA players Paul Pierce and Danny Green. It's called No Fouls Given. It's an NBA podcast. We talk about what's going on around the league, and they tell, stories from their time as players. These guys both played over 15 years, have an incredible reserve of experience and knowledge of the game. So even if you like the NBA even a little bit, you should check us out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. That's No Fouls Given.
It sounds wonderful. Paul Pierce is telling stories from on the court, or I know you love to get.
He's telling them all. I promise.
I love it. That's worth the price of admission. We love Paul Pierce.
A lot going on.
Yeah, he does. Still. I remember Kevin Garnett tried to tell him, stop talking, man. It's a hot mic, and he's going to tell it. Thank you. And thank you for watching, supporting TYT always. We love you. Thanks, Doc, for letting us try to keep your seat warm a little bit. We hope you'll join us again.
Sweat into gold. Because once you have a dream, there's no telling how far you can go. That's why HUD is proudly supporting Team USA's Olympic and Paralympic teams.